Alright, so this is gonna be the absolutely last part of the text animator playlist tutorial series. Right, I added a couple of extra stuff. So added meaning like down here, this is a null. I need to go talk about this. I'd be crazy not to talk about it. It's that important, and if I don't add it in, I'm doing my students a disservice. So, like it or not, this has to be learned, right? So this is what it's about. This is the file, right? Not the file, but the animation, so you can see what you'll be learning. I'm gonna play it. Okay, so one more time. So that's how useful this null is. You can do some really fun animation and stuff like that. Let me show the other one. Okay. One more time. I also added a little bit of visual treatment, adding a bit of a shadow here. It's not hard to do, but it adds so much to it, so much visual bite to the overall look. So this also is not hard to do. I think did I add it here? Yeah, I did. See, right here. So those are the extra goodies. Okay, let me set this up. So basically, here's the file. I'm gonna play it. Super fun. The sound effects is part of my collection, which I'm sharing with the class. Yeah, so it's free to use. The name of it is here, blah blah blah. Alright, I'm gonna open the previous file. Okay, 1 second. So I'm looking in here. I think I mentioned it. I forgot which video, but you're gonna want a footage and a sound. Right, in this footage we don't have any footage, but in the sound, hey, where's my sound? What sound? My sound's supposed to be in here. Oh wait, oh, it says After Effects project. Never mind. I opened up the wrong Explorer window. So, yeah, hold on. Here's this, right? Basically, you put all your sound files in here in the folder. You make a folder, name it sound, and you dump all your sound in there, basically. Anyway, with that in mind, let me see, which one was it? Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. Yeah. So here we go. This is where I left off previously in the last video. Alright, so here we are. So I want to introduce this thing called a null. So the way you create it, right? There's two ways in here. Timeline, right click, new, null object, click it. There you go. Or layer, new, null object, right? So that's your null. I'm gonna zoom in here. This is the null. It's weird looking contraption, little crosshair, and in this little red wired box, right? You don't see this during the render. It's just a visual representation, right? This little crosshair, that's your anchor point. This tells you where things are gonna pivot, where it's gonna, the center of its mass is gonna be, where it's gonna rotate, move, you know, that guy right there, which is what we're gonna talk about and how to manipulate it. In the previous tutorials, I did not talk about it, but in this one we are going to, which is the anchor point. Anyway, in here, I want to go to in here and fit up to 100%. There we go. Next, you'll notice that the null is right here. This is by default where it gets laid out right here. But you notice that this targeting thing is not squarely in the middle of this text set. I want it to be right in the middle. It does play a role in terms of the movement and the positioning. So with that being said, I want to put it right here, dead center between these two words. The way you do that is I want to introduce you to this right here. Basically the anchor point. Anchor point. Basically a hotkey is Y, as in yellow. What this does is that once this is blue, this means that the anchor point is live for pivot, so you can move it around. You see how the cursor, it looks different, right? See the cursor, it looks different now. What you do is hover over here, right? Make sure the null is selected, obviously, first of all, and then you click that, you go over here, see? Again, I'll do it again. Make sure you hover over it like that, left click and drag, and let's see, eyeball it right around here is the middle, maybe right around there. And the tool is still live. You press V as in Victor so that it gets out of the tool. Make sure that this is not blue anymore. And now if I grab it, right, oh, okay, forget that part. So I set up the null to be right smack in the middle, the anchor point of between this word set. That's what you want to do. Next, right, again, that was Y as in yellow, and this that tool over here that we just set up. Now we want this null one, right? I want it to commandeer and take control of this text as well as this text. And when it does that, right, when these two layers become slaves to this as a master controller, the original animations that was done will still be there, right? It does not damage the previous animation. So what we do next is I want to introduce you to the parent and link right here. If you do not see this set up for whatever the hell reason, right, click here, toggle switches, click it. You might have this set up in case for whatever reason. Click it again, and this is what you want. And this right here, this is called a pick whip, right? And this right here tells you what happens from doing the pick whip. Basically, this word right here, this little swirly thing, you left click on it, don't let go, you drag it, and you aim it towards the null. You see here, parent and link, it's linked and being commandeered by null one. This guy right here, right, little swirly pick whip, left click it, drag and aim it to the null. And now these two are both being driven by the null, but the original animation is still airtight and solid and not compromised. So that's what that is. So you just learned a couple of neat things, right? It's not too hectic. You could write in here, press enter, right? And maybe put a little dash, put down slide in, out. That way whoever needs to look at your file, let's say in the future, you get a job and you need to hand off the project to someone else, blah, blah, blah. A little description like that, they'll know what the hell's going on, you know? So that's a good thing to do, little things like that, good habit. And next, so I want to do the animation of it, doing the slide in and slide out animation I showed previously, right? I'm not going to do exactly like it. I'm just going to do something fairly similar, right? That way you could see the work in progress and how I go about doing it. Okay, so with that being said, Now, if I look under, say, null 1, and I have my selection tool, V as in Victor, if I grab onto it, see? See, now your imagination is like, oh wow, okay, what can I do with this? Right? A lot, probably, obviously, you know? So that's how you test that it's working. Select the null, yank it around. Control Z and to undo it. From there, what you want to do is I'm just gonna scrub it. I'm gonna see when everything ends. Right around here is when everything ends, give or take. With that being said, I want to introduce a couple of hotkeys, right? And as a side note, all this time with the text animation, this was being done using the text animator, which is procedural, meaning that, you know, there's all these little sub compartments and, you know, little its own little setup and dials, right? That's procedural. I mean, it's not the full definition of procedural, but you know, it's built in. The programmers built it in for the animators to make use of. But what we're doing is not text animator stuff, right? We're not doing that. What we're doing is animating the null, its position, which is P as in Peter, right? See, it's different. It is not within the text animator, right? I repeat, this is not within the text animator. For example, if I grab this, if I press P for position, if I crack it open, this is position. See how it's within your transform attributes set, right? While this is your text animator department, right? You see all these little sub departments, right? Blah 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 blah. So this is what makes it distinguished. It's different. I have to make sure to mention this so that you students understand that there is a difference, right? So we're animating the position attribute for the null, blah 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 blah. So you're just gonna hit the stopwatch. Reason why you want to set the stopwatch is it's just to lock it in here, so that we have a basically lock it in so that this position is confirmed, right? Because if you don't confirm your starting position, things will self-destruct or go out of whack real fast. So you want to lock this in a position. I want to, like I said, position is P as in Peter. I also want to press S or Shift and S as in Sam. Shift and S, that way it'll open up scale as well together. Again, that's holding Shift and pressing S as in Sam. I want to click on scale. So we locked in their position, we locked in the scale. Those two are locked in. So that's all we need for right now, right? This is our resting position. Resting position default, we locked it in. And then from there, since we had all this high intensity animation, right? And it ends around here, you don't want to go right into the next movement. You want to give some leeway to stall a little bit. That way your audience can absorb everything and get ready for the next round of movement, right? So I set it here, but I want to hold this position for about 5 frames. So I hold down control, and I click on the right arrow. So that's holding control on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 frames. Then I'm gonna go over here. Again, this is for the null. Click on the diamond here. Click on the diamond here. So this, we locked it in place, right? So it ends, and then it's gonna hold this position for 5 frames, right? The magic words is about 5 frames. Don't hold it for like 10, 15, 20, 30 frames. That's just, in the world of animation, that's forever. And the way society is, we want everything now, 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 right? So, you know, 5 frames is enough for your audience has the patience for it. 5 frames, give or take. So we hold it there. Next, right, I'm gonna hold on Control and the right arrow, right, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 frames, give or take, right here. And then I'm gonna animate the position. So as I previously mentioned in the other videos, this column is your left to right. This column is your up and down. This here, I want to yank it. Left click and yank it. Maybe left click and yank it some more, right around here. So it pulls back. Pulls back. See this line, right? That's just the anime. You could kind of say like it's the path, that is visual path of where it's going, right? Again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. And then I also want to squeeze it in or scale it smaller. So over here, make sure you know where you are. I'm gonna left click, drag it like that. But you notice how now I have this much space because I shrunk it, right? I scaled it down. So I can use this as an opportunity to pull it back more because this is my anticipation. So in here, position, right? I'm gonna, this column, yank it towards my left some more. That way pulls. So you, right? It squeezes in, right? And then I wanna hold this position for about maybe a frame, give or take, right? Because this is the anticipation, it's pulling back, and I don't want to just go right into the next movement. Because if you're pulling your weight back, it needs to hold that weight and then to blast off, right? So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select both of these keyframes, right, which is my position and my scale, and then I'm gonna go just forward 1 frame. Well, actually, you know what? I gotta copy it. Control C, go forward 1 frame. Control V as in Victor. So I have a 1 frame static hold, right? Don't mind this, where you see the blurriness, right? I taught in the previous classes that's the motion blur being activated, right? Just in case if you forgot what that was. See? Let me just play it. Space bar. Okay, see? So you're starting to feel the timing of it, right? See how I held it for about what, X amount of frames, right? And then only 4 frames for the anticipation pullback. Only 4 frames. See, I did not pile in the frames. See, I did not do, newbie stuff like this, where just shoving a whole bunch of frames. You don't do that because it's just gonna look slow and floaty and whack. See how whack that is? A lot of beginners, they'll do things like this, right? Again, all you need is 4 to get that snappy timing of animation, right? Next, I'm pulling this out so it plays out more, right? Again, that's N as in Nancy, right? N as in Nancy. Anyway, so it holds it there, right? Then it's gonna blast forward. I'm gonna click outside so I don't select these guys, and then say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 frames, 3 or 4 frames between, or something like that. I'm gonna go back in here, position. I'm gonna yank it forward like that. See? But now I'm also for my scale, right? If I click on my scale, you see how it's highlighted all the keyframes, the diamonds. Sometimes this will screw you up where it will set keys for all of them. I don't know when that happens, but something to be wary about. You want to just click outside. I mentioned it before in the other videos, I'm mentioning it again. And here, I'm going to jack it up. freaking huge, right? Or over exaggeration. Boom. See? And then wham. Huge. Like right in your face, like that. Okay? So let's play it. See? So you can already feel it, like, oh wow, okay, this is starting to be fun. Right? So it comes in your face, right? And I want to have some hang time, kind of like how Michael Jordan, you know, you see him flying in the air and there's some hang time. I kind of want to do that for this. So how you do that is, so boom, 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 and then 1, 2, maybe 2 frames. I'm gonna go in here, right? 2 frames forward, set a key, set a key. What that did was just the same position, right? But at least now, right now, I locked it in to get it, setting up my move, you know? Then from there, since it's the same move, now I have to make things happen. I'm gonna go under position. I'm gonna move it forward a little bit, right? So boom, 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 boom. See? A little bit forward. Okay. So it's gonna drag a bit for 2 frames. Reason why I'm also doing this is that, like I said, it's a bit of a hang time, right? Because, right, and it's bigger, right? And to emphasize weight, right? That's why I put this 2 frame hang time and slightly creeping along for 2 frames. It's like, whoa, bop, bop. And then I'm gonna go 1, 2. Let me play it. Right. And then let's say 1, 2, 3 frames, give or take. Right. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna scale it down. Right. And then I'm gonna push it forward to give that illusion. Like that. So whoosh, like from here holding, whoosh, and whoop, and then bop, bop, and then squeezing in, right? Maybe I'll squeeze it in a little bit more to get more of that feel, like that. Under the scale, I left click and I drag it towards my left, right? See? Maybe I want to kick it up a notch and kick it towards my right a little bit more, get more pop. In the position, left click, drag it. And you see how I only had the 1 blue diamond selected. This means you're safe. If you ever see this, be careful, be very careful when you see this. Anyway, shoot. See, you can see it already happening. Maybe I'm gonna kick it a little bit forward this way some more. Like that. Always be mindful where you are. So that part, I'm gonna go forward 2 frames. So this previously was 1, 2, 3. And I'm from here, 1, 2, perhaps 2 frames only. Now I'm gonna scale it down more. Left click and drag towards my left. That. And the position, right? Make sure you have nothing selected. Crank it towards my right some more. Like that. So see? Let's play it. Right? And then I'll go maybe 1, 2, and maybe 3 frames. I'm thinking between 2 or 3. Let's try 3 frames. All right, 3 frames might be too much. Anyway, So on the 3 frames later, the position, I'm gonna crank it this way, like that. I'm gonna leave it, I'm gonna use my mouse scroll to zoom out a bit. So I'm just putting it here for now. Maybe I'll scoot over some more. I still want to see some of it so I can gauge my scale. Under my scale, I'm gonna squeeze it in some more, like that. A lot smaller around there. Then I'm gonna go back to my position, and push it off screen, like that. All within 1, 2, 3 frames. Let's play. Not bad, right? So that was not bad. From here, you can add a little bit extra and really just make it pop, you know? Because animation is all about pushing beyond what you see, right? To the point of you think it's gonna break, right? So what you're gonna do is from here, right? And then that's your hold. Then bop, 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 bop. This right here, remember these two are static. But what I wanna do is when I go here, right? Not this one, but this one, where it makes the contact pulling back. What I wanna do is I wanna get my position. I wanna pull it back a little bit more, right? But you notice that I pulled it back a little bit more, and then the next frame, right, it scoots a little bit, right? So all I did was this guy right here, I pulled it back a little bit more, whereas before it was over here, and I pulled it back. Let's see what that does. A little bit more spontaneous. See, there's more pop. Right? Just off of that one little scoot. Right? And then this one right here. Let's say you do something a little bit risky and the scale, you crank it a little bit bigger. Right? Just on the scale for the second static hold, right? This guy right here, this one, the original scale, I did not manipulate it. I only manipulated the pushback. And this one, pop, I only manipulated the scale to make it bigger, like yay bigger. Before, after. See? It feels more fluid. So that was fun. Like I said before, this static hold, I got the position, I pushed it back. You know what, hell, let me just push back some more. Like that much. Like I said, in this one, I scaled it a little bit bigger. Like yay big. Maybe I'll scale it a bit more. Something like that. 7% more, from 80 to 87%. Just for the hell of it. And then the apex, wham, this right here. This will wham, right in your face, right? This part, I'm gonna get the scale, I'm gonna crank it, like yay big. So it goes, wham, and then boom, boom. And then maybe I'll scoot it a little bit forward because it got so much bigger, right? Because it still feels like it's kind of back here, but I'm gonna scoot it forward a little bit like that on this frame right here. So, and then boom, 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 boom. Play it. And so, bop, bop, bop. Maybe I'll make it freaking bigger. Like that. Just jack it up on the first apex. Wham. And then boom, boom. Smaller, smaller. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And then boom, boom. And then shoo. I think I feel like when it got this huge, I need to slide it towards my right a little bit more to compensate for the huge size of it, right, on this frame right here. Like wham in your face. Maybe I'll scoot it a little bit more, and then bop bop bop. When it goes to this frame, you know what, let's just play it. See, right there, this part felt a little janky. So this here, right, I'm gonna just scoot it towards my right a little bit more to get that stutter out of the way. This guy right there. When it goes bam right here, I want it to be more in the middle, so our eyes track, our eyes are leading more towards this way. So I'm going to push it over here. Remember, that's this part right here. So right there, and then pop pop. This part's gonna feel janky, feels weird. So I'm gonna slide it a little bit more, right? So boom boom in your face, the middle, and then pop pop. Maybe I'll scoot over some more, left click and drag, right? Pop pop. Now to compensate for this here, right? Because it's like a domino effect, a chain link, right? So I need to scoot this guy right here a little bit more to offset it. Not offset, but to lead the eye better. See? Bump bump. Bop bop. Let's play it. Okay. Let me scoot this over a bit more. Maybe this part right here, I'll squeeze it in. So to have more fine-tuned control of the slider, right, hold on control and then left click and drag. It'll slide it slower. There, so I made it just a little bit smaller on this part right here. This part, right, maybe I'll scoot it some more. That's this part right here. So it forces the perspective and the movement when I scoot it more towards my right, as well as scaling it smaller. So that looks starting to look very nice. This part here, right, going towards the end. Maybe I'm gonna push it a little bit more, right? And then it's gonna pop up. And then shoo. Again, that was this part right here. This guy right here. Maybe this part, when I push it forward, maybe I'll scale it down some more. Right, this part right here. And bam. This part, I'm gonna push it towards my right a little bit more, right here. this part to compensate the next 2 frames down. I'm gonna push it some more, because think of it as domino effect, chain linking. You have to compensate for the next frames afterwards. Maybe I want to a little bit smaller. So that's at 40, about 40%. This here is about 25% at the very last in terms of scale. Alright, so it's not the best, but I think it's good enough for this exercise. I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, so that's how you do that. Then you go in and you start adding your sound effects, right? Again, your sound effects, I could just either in here, double click, right? And let me go to documents. Where the hell is it? Sound. And you just pick and choose. I will have the sound collection on the classroom folder, right? There's gonna be more, it's a whole list. So you just pick and choose, like say for example, I don't know, maybe this one. See, you grab it, drop it, press LL, that we can see it, then you time it. Again, that's LL. Let's see how that sounds. Maybe right at this part right here, right? That's when maybe I should push it this way so that the most apex part of sound effect kicks in when the word zooms out. See? So that shoosh. Maybe a little bit more before. So this is the fun part where you kind of time it. Maybe later. If you hold on Control and drag, you could hear the sound effect. Like you're scrubbing the sound effect. Right here, this is where I want the apex of the sound. Maybe right around here. Right here, see? And then I'm gonna drag this. Alright, so that's how you do that. What is this? Just like that. So that was that part. That was almost 40 minutes. Last thing I'll show is how to add the drop shadow. Right. So here's your effects and presets. It may be over here. Right. It might be. You want to grab it, left click and grab it. This little slot, just in case if you forgot. And this, when it turns blue, purple like this, just put it there. Effects and presets, again, that is under window. effects and presets, right? Character, effects and presets, effects controls, which is this, which is the other one you want to have. Anyway, so in here the main word to type out is shadow. Effects and presets, you select your first word, effects and presets, type in shadow, make sure you have it selected, the layer. You're gonna find drop shadow, right? Double click it, bam, it's right there. If I zoom in, you see this? I can hold on the middle mouse button to pan it. See this? Drop shadow. I'm gonna change the color, shadow color. I'm gonna dump in like, I don't know, something slick and edgy, like that. Something with a bit of pop. I don't know, something like that maybe. See? Then I want to see how stiff the shadow is. I want to go under softness, crank it to 5. See? There. And then, and you know what, maybe I'll change the color to like something where I can feel it more. See, it's more stylized. And then this one right here, select slide out, drop shadow, double click, right? I'm gonna go in here, I don't know, I may choose like yeah, maybe like something like that, maybe. And then softness, type in 5. There you go. And then if I play the animation, right? There you go, see? So you see this part where it pulls back for the anticipation, right? I had added a sound effect here, but I'm not gonna put it in because it's gonna take forever. But that's where the fun is. You know, you look around, use your imagination and with your hearing, and you kind of blend sound effects together, and that's where it gets really fun. So that's the exercise for this, and you know, that's learning a lot. The slide in, the slide out, and having it controlled by the null, right? And also the drop shadow, which was super quick, but it provides so much, right? Last part is for this exercise, you have to go in under composition, make sure you have this thing, see how it's blue, right? That means it's actively selected. If it's not, right? If it's not selected, if you go under composition, well, usually this is grayed out, but whatever, man. You go in here, make sure this is blue, right? Highlight it, and then you go to composition, add to render queue. What the hell? Oh yeah, render queue is here, right? This is the old one, I'm gonna delete it. Here we are. Click on H.264 in here. Format options again. It's good to review. Crank it 50 if you don't have hardware encoding. If it's software encoding, still crank it. Leave it at VBR pass 1. Right? If you're on hardware, same thing. Crank it to 50. Hit OK. Right? Don't screw around with anything else. Right? And hit OK. Just in case, check on best settings. Make sure this is at use comp frame rate 24 frames per second. OK. And here, make sure that you have enough padding so it goes off screen, right? And then you have some little bit left over, like this much, right? And then here, you click here, and maybe you could just name it like, obviously your name, slide in, slide out exercise, and then maybe you could type it like with null animation, right? With null animation, something like that. Hit save, and then you just hit render, and then crank it out. And then when you crank it out, dump it into the sync sketch under your section, and that's that exercise. I'm still contemplating about making the other one with the rotation, right? Gotta see how tired I am. I want to just play it by ear for right now, but it's literally the same thing with the rotation animation. Because for example, under the null, if you press U, right, which shows all the keyframes, again that's U as an umbrella, right? And then if you press holding shift and R as in rotate, there's your rotation. That's how you animate it. You animate this column. See this number right here? That's rotation. This 0 is the how many revolutions. Don't screw around with this. Just trust me. Just screw around with this right 0.0. That's your actual rotation. This is your revolutions. Blah 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 blah. Just this guy right there. Yeah. I might just leave it like this. I don't know. I gotta see how tired I am. Anyway, so that's that. That's the end of that. So, this is also due, right? Yeah. Okay. That's it. Bye.